Hello, my name's Paul. I'm the Board Game Nut, and welcome to my YouTube board game review channel. I'm going to be reviewing board games and card games. Today I'm going to be reviewing the Manhattan Project by Minion Games. It's pretty cool, little worker placement game. Obviously, my aim with the channel and with this review is just to give you a quick rundown of what I like about the game, what I don't like about the game. I'm going to try and keep the videos on my channel under 10 minutes. It's just, we've got quick lives. Don't want to hear me waffle on for half an hour about a board game, do you? No, 5-10 minutes will do. So, worker placement games, if you're new to worker placement games, they're kind of, what you're doing is normally, this is the board. What you're doing normally is you're putting someone on the board here, which triggers you getting a particular type of resource, and everyone keeps taking turns doing that. Once you've got enough resources, you spend the resources to in this particular game to build a bomb, and the person with the most, you get points for building your bombs, and different bombs are worth different points and stuff like that. What do I really like about this game? It's got some unique mechanics in it. So there's like different types of workers. I'm going to try and hopefully this will focus in. You've got three different types of workers in this game. You've got an engineer. That's an engineer. Hopefully that's focused in on that. You've got a labourer. That's the labourer. Hopefully that's focused in there. And then you've got a scientist. And normally, in a worker placement game, you have a worker. They're all the same, or they're not always. They're a bit different sometimes, some games, but most of the time it's a worker. You put it on the board, you collect the resource. On this, you have to use different workers to trigger different buildings. So just going to run through the board again quick. So up here you've got this. This is where all your buildings are going to be. They're worth cost different money. So it's going to cost like 2 money, or an engineer to get these buildings, or 3 money, right up to 20 money. So as new buildings come along, they slide along here. This is where the spot you activate to build them. You've got airstrikes, I'll come back to them later. You've got factories here, so if I place a worker here, I'll get a couple of fighters. Here I'd have to place a scientist or an engineer and I'll get some money. Here I'd have to place a scientist and an engineer. Here I'd have to place scientists and I'll get plutonium or uranium. You've got like a little espionage track down here. You've got universities where you can get more workers. So I mean, like different buildings. So like this one here, this is a mine. Hopefully that's going to focus in on that. You'd have to use an engineer. I know it's an engineer because he's got the little head with the hard hat on. So this building here, it's a scientist. He's got the little glasses and yellow cake, and I'd get plutonium. This building here is the head, there's a round circle at the top, there's a question mark, so that could be any type of builder. So yeah, you kind of, another thing that's quite unique about this game is the aeroplanes and bombers. So you can collect aeroplanes and bombers in the game, then you use the aeroplanes to shoot your target's aeroplanes out. Once you've zeroed out the aeroplanes, you can then use your bombers to bomb their buildings. Once they've destroyed, once you've put down your building, they can't use it till they repair it. It's quite an interesting mechanics, quite on the fence about it actually, but it's still really cool. You've got the espionage track. You activate to use other people's buildings because you have your player board. So you've got like your buildings here. You can have as many buildings as you want. It's just a nice little board to put your first 10 buildings down. So the espionage track, I could activate it, and then I could activate one of my opponent's buildings because he's built a nice university or a nice mine. You've got your track here for your fighters and your bombers. You've got your usual stuff, coins, money, cardboard for your money, wooden cubes. You've got a whole tub of these workers. So you've got all your coloured ones plus grey ones which you can get. Components are really nice, really good fit for purpose. Yeah, so Manhattan Project, it's not just it's a worker placement game with definitely some interesting mechanics in it. If you've not played it and you kind of like that sort of Village or Lords of Waterdeep game, then I'd highly recommend it. Go and get it. Rule book, Rule book, I really like the rule book. It's got some nice sort of 40s or 50s artwork. It's kind of all in there. It's not too much artwork in the book. There's little bits, I guess. Yeah, I mean, you read the rule book from the front to the start, you'll know how to play the game. But I find it a little bit wordy. It's a little bit. That sounds a bit dumb actually, but no, it's just it over-explains stuff. You know, like you know, there's espionage uncovered, and it's got some examples which is nice, but it could have been summed up in a paragraph. You know what I mean? It's not the best rule book. There's no index as well. I hate that. There should just be an index so I can just where am I? Where's that thing? What page? I hate that. Just give me an index, man. So yeah, it's one of my little gripes with board games that don't have an index. But yeah, no, it's a really cool game. One of the other things that's really cool about it is when you're doing board actions, so you trigger one of these spots on the board, you can then trigger as many of your buildings as you want, which is so you can combo up. So on your turn, you kind of like, I'll do this and I can do that, then it allows me to do this and that. So you can get this whole little combo going. Which is really cool. You don't get that in many worker placement games. Normally it's place a worker, get that resource, my turn is done. In this one you're kind of doing your own combos, which is really cool. Yes, that's Manhattan Project from Minion Games. Pick it up, about 35 quid I think. I got it for Christmas. My mum bought it for me. It's on my Amazon wish list. Thanks mum. Yeah, thanks very much for tuning in. I'm Paul. I'm the Board Game Nut, and this has been another board game review by me. Thanks very much. Bye.